All right, guys, we're doing a switch today. Send this around to all your friends. Make sure they're in here. $50,000 giveaway at the end of the stream. Sponsored by Maven Trading. We're going to be live trading today. That's the switch. We're waiting for Ryan to get back to do the open discussion about success. So today, just Emma and I. Stay tuned. All right, guys, good morning for the Western market here. We are going to do some live trading today. It's good to see you, Bilala. Yeah, FX, good to see you, Kennedy, Dollar FX, all the regulars. You know, everyone here comes every single week. We do a different topic every week, guys. Today, we're going to be doing some live trading. Ryan is missing in the house. He's out on a flight, and we're going to have him back next week to discuss being successful in your life and creating a means to acquire success and creating a setup, you know what I mean? Now today, because we are just Emma and I, we're going to do some live trading. And that means we're going to have open discussion with the chat. Guys, I made a post just last night about a couple different trading styles, and that's what I want to discuss. What we're going to do is we're going to trade how I would normally trade-ish, right? And open the discussion. If you guys want to place any sort of ideas on how to trade or different styles of trading, we can discuss those. The post I'm talking about is buy US 100 right now. The NASDAQ is what I trade. Yes. Sorry, guys, I'm getting distracted. I'm going to throw up on the screen here so that our faces aren't so big the charts. Okay, guys. Now the chat log actually might be in the way, so I'm going to try to make sure that this gets out of there. Okay, perfect. I have to try to remember. So if Emma, you can keep me in line here, just give a scream if I ever cover up some of the chat. Now, if you guys are watching from any of the sources, that chat log is not the full chat log. You should be watching from the Maven channel on YouTube. We go live every single Tuesday, 4:30 UTC. That is 9:30 my time on the Western Coast. This is the Maven Manager right here. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is before you get into trading, you want to go and look at the news here, guys. We don't allow news trading. If you have a red folder news event, which is going to be coming up tomorrow, we don't disqualify you, but those profits are not allowed. They're omitted on the challenge and in the funded accounts. Now, we've got a funded account here, and the example is, oh, shoot, we're actually a little bit down on that funded account. $300, made a little mistake. Maybe I made one loss in the start here. And let's figure out how to trade. We're going to trade the NASDAQ this morning. If you guys have any questions, post them there. Emma's following along. Emma, I'm not going to read the chat log, so you speak up when necessary. Now, the thing is there, guys, I want to pull up this one here. And these are the different trading styles, okay? That I just came up with the back of my mind there last night. We have a lot of things, SMC, ICT, those are similar. Moon phase is a joke, okay? Elliott wave is one where you kind of count the waves, and it's very, very subjective. This is a difficult one to make any money with. And the way that these were ranked was essentially the ease into profitability, right? So ICT SMC is going to be easier to be profitable than moon phases. Moon phases makes no sense. Not trading is obviously a zero. You can't make money if you don't trade. Okay, guys, we're all traders here today. So we're trying to find the easiest way to make money. That's simple fact. Trend trading, super, super easy. And that could fall under many different means, right? This does not mean moving averages. Moving averages is a little bit different. Moving averages is a lagging indicator. So that's kind of, it's a bit worse than trend trading. There are ways to trend trade using price action. That's really, really good. And that's what we're going to be using today. Custom builds, guys. You guys might be wondering what the hell that is. A lot of people questioning that. Custom builds means it's something that you built yourself. That might be a blend of all of these things. That's the best way to make money. Support and resistance is really good for knowing some zones, guys. So this is what we're going to be doing today, is we're going to be doing sort of a trend-based trading style with support and resistance levels that we're going to be buying in on. We're going to be doing, we're not going to be following any liquidity entries. We're going to be just entering loosely, and we're not going to be doing martingale. Let's be fair, because that is a betting style where you just keep adding to the trade until you lose. Now, DCAing is a little bit different. DCAing allows you to enter multiple times to get a better entry without knowing where the actual turning point is going to be. Now, martingale is just a complete gambling strategy, but you can make money doing it, and that's why it's a 3. But you will eventually blow all your money, yes. Range-based trading, really good. That's what Ryan likes to do. All right, guys, let's jump into it. That's enough. That's enough talking. If there's anything I missed, pop it in chat. Emma's going to ask me about it.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for you to take a breath so I can ask you about it. People are wondering if they're still going to get a market overview today.
Yes, sure. Let's do that now since we are into the trading. Okay, all right. Yeah. Let me pull this up. Thank you for reminding me. I'm sorry. I talk too much, eh?
Oh no, it's not. It's not that you talk too much. It's just that you're very passionate about what you're talking about.
Guys, Bitcoin. Ryan would be kicking in his chair here right now, loving it. We saw yesterday close a little bit above that level there. Bitcoin's doing super, super well. I hate to say it if I'm wrong. I am still personally waiting for the election in order to do anything, because I know that that's a significant point. I don't want to be in on either side. That's part of the reason why I've not been in. It does look really good on the weekly candles here as that's coming back up here. We're still not completely sure. There is a level that is being hit here right currently. So we want to make sure that we can get above that level on the weekly. If we get above that level on the weekly, I would say, sure, guys, that's really, really strong confidence that we are going to close the monthly strong. And then we can probably get back into this market safely. Okay. So I'm saying safely because, make sure your budget is wise and make sure that you're not investing too much, that just in case you need to pay some expenses over the next 6 months, we could still come back down here. Okay. So, invest with your own risk intolerance, right? Let's look at the S&P. Again, guys, S&P not really doing anything. There's not much for discussion here. As long as we're making new highs, there's no reason to say anything more. NASDAQ hitting that level. Okay. So we aren't making new highs on the NASDAQ. It's a similar sort of case to the Bitcoin here because it is a tech-based stock. That's the level, of course, the previous all-time highs that we're attempting to make a new high of. And again, it's going to be the same situation as how does the weekly candle close? Look at that weekly candle. We can break it down to see, okay, what's the probability of that weekly candle doing well? The daily is really crap here on the NASDAQ. So if that daily breaks down here, there's no chance. There's no chance, guys. Well, that's we're going to break above that weekly, and then we're going to be bearish for sure on the NASDAQ if that candle closes like that. Okay. US 30. Great correlation to the S&P. No discussion. Gold. Weekly candles, it looks pretty good. I would still be a gold holder. I wouldn't necessarily be throwing all my money into something that's just rocketed like this. You don't know what's exactly going to happen, but still keep investing. You know what I mean? Have some cash reserves in case you can get a little bit lower. That's generally what I would do when things are just mooning, because you don't know when they're going to turn down. You don't know when you're going to get a really good spike down here and get a great buy opportunity, but you still want to be in the market so that you don't get the FOMO. Okay. Guys, and that's all I want to say about that. Let's go into some trading. Okay, so NASDAQ is what we're going to trade here today. Guys, I've gotten the liberty. I started doing a little bit of trading this morning. Hunty, can you guide us about currency and pair correlation? Oh, I'm not sure exactly what you mean about that. I'm assuming you mean the correlation between like Euro and GBP USD, right? And it's a simple matter of fact of, there's the obvious correlation via the US dollar. Okay. So it basically means what is the power of the US dollar and how much does that control that coin, for example. If that doesn't make sense, I'll give you an example. The US dollar and the Aussie and the US dollar and the Kiwi. Okay. New Zealand and Aussie, right? These two here. The US dollar pretty much is so much more stronger than those two currencies, right? So both of these are going to correlate super, super closely because they're weak currencies compared to the US dollar, okay? In terms of pound US dollar and euro US dollar, they're much more powerful currencies. So they move on their own, but they are still correlated. Now, there are websites you can go to find correlation charts and then figure out what percentage that is. Again, it's kind of, it gives you a range of how powerful that coin is, right? Another example might be CAD JPY. CAD and JPY are similarly powerful, right? They're not super, super strong in themselves, but CAD US dollar, the US dollar is obviously going to take power over that one. Okay.
Can correlation be used as a confluence in trading strategy?
Thanks, Emma. Only if it's only if you're trading multiple pairs. That would be used for a hedging mechanism. It has nothing to do with the actual trading strategy. Today we're talking mostly about day trading strategies. In terms of hedge funds and investing, this is the things that you want to use. Maybe we'll do a session if you guys want to on longer term investing, minimizing risk, hedging, and if you're using large funds to kind of balance your finances and whatnot. I'm assuming the majority of our viewers are interested in day trading side of things because it's easier to profit on smaller funds with that. When you're talking about correlations, you're really talking about managing your risk with a large capital, right? Let's look at
I'm being asked about turkey now because I was posting pictures of Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, the turkey day.
The turkey day. Yes, there is technically turkey left over.
Yeah.
Because it was a 20-pound turkey. It's a big bird.
Wow.
Cooking.
How many people
you weren't cooking too much, right? You weren't one of the people cooking the other day.
We didn't cook. No, we did a big charcuterie around the fire and had our kombucha, our synthetic sort of wine, our fake wines, and had a good time. So
yeah, it's funny. I end up cooking Thanksgiving dinner each year. Even back when I was a vegetarian, I would make turkeys for people.
Well, wow. Yeah, that's probably pretty triggering, hey?
It was fine. I was okay with it. I just wasn't really interested in eating it at the time. So
okay. I mean, yeah, turkey is one of the better ones, I think, because it's just a massive meal for free, basically.
Yep. Yeah.
But guys, we're talking about Thanksgiving. It's Canada here, so we just had Thanksgiving. The States does it in next month, I believe.
Yeah. Guys, do you know why that is, by the way?
Different times of coming over.
Harvest.
That's the word.
Yeah. It's colder up here in Canada.
I thought it was when we invaded the country.
Well, I mean, we probably shouldn't talk about the War of 1812 here. It's a bit of a controversial viewpoint.
Holy crap. Emma's taking the control here today.
Sorry, we'll get back to actual trading here.
Good. I just wanted, before we make too many jokes, I just want to touch on what's going on in the market here now for the intraday stuff, because we always talk about the large picture, guys. What's going on in the intraday, this might help you guys, is on the market open. I only do the stock market pretty much. So there's a different way of trading when you're talking about the intraday trading. And we really need to look at the session times, guys. This is a major importance, right? So we don't want to be taking trades before the open, personally, because there's so much volatility that's going to come into the market. And if we're trading on these little ranges and then it does, that's really going to mess you up. So that's going to blow your bank. That's going to blow your Maven challenge. And that's going to cost you more money out of your pocket, no matter if it's your account or not, right? You're going to blow that pretty dang quick. So you can treat those opens a lot like the news events.
Yeah. I've gotten several questions about when to close a trade, but maybe we'll talk about that a little later in the stream.
Yeah, guys. So that's going to really come down to your strategy. And I'm going to break down something a little bit here. It's going to be a really subjective. All of these things are rather subjective to your styles. Personally, what I use is I just use horizontal levels personally. But anything that can be a level, anything can be a level, right? It could be horizontal levels. It could be wicks. It could be your trend lines. It could be your Fibonacci's, right? Whatever you define as your levels. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down a pretty simple, common way of trading. First of all, what we do is we devise is this big enough? Hopefully, maybe I'll maybe make it a bit bigger here so it's easier for people to see. Okay.
Just want to jump in before you get started, guys.
Yeah.
The stream today is on live trading. If you have questions on that, that's fantastic. If you have questions about your account, please pop into our Discord to get help. And if you have questions that are unrelated to today's topic, you can feel free to also ask our staff in our Discord, because spamming your comments is going to get you banned eventually, because I'm seeing the same thing come up again and again. It's starting to get annoying. So
thank you, Emma. Lay down the law.
I will.
Can you imagine how boring that stream would be if this was just a support line?
Oh my gosh. It would be so boring. No one wants a support line stream.
Exactly. So guys, if we're day trading, we definitely do not want to use these higher time frames. We want to be using something more sort of intraday to figure out a bias. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to figure out what direction we want to trade first. I like to use different candle closes and these wicks. So when we woke up this morning, we seen that the market was actually not able to make a new high here, right? So that's a pretty good indication that we might want to be short. So let's say we've seen the short come into play here and we wanted to get on those shorts, right? We've seen the failure to make new highs. Some people might say that that's a liquidity zone. Some people might say they hunted the stops, or a failure to gain, or a trend change, anything along these lines, right? So let's just assume that we're short here today, okay? And we can continue to keep up with that information based off of these closes, right? If we're getting these big wicks coming to the other side, then we might want to get out, right, of those shorts and switch to a long bias. Today, we're going to look at a little bit of short bias. We can see some more confirmation that the 2 hour here closed below, right? And what I want to do now is maybe throw in some zones, right, that we might want to be adding to those shorts. So you have sort of this area here, right? That's a good area that we might want to short. Obviously up here, but that's a big gap, right? So if we're taking shorts, we definitely don't want to be in that area, okay? Because that means it's going to come up here, and that's going to be a huge drawdown. So let's jump down to lower levels so we can see, okay, so the 2 hour close here, this might be another level of interest that we might want to be shorting on. And the 1 hour, okay, the 1 hour again, similar sort of thing. We closed below there. So this zone is another one, right? So we have some really good zones here. So this is kind of our area that we might want to be shorting off of, okay?
Yeah. What are some of the primary metrics that you use to, track your sessions and make sure they're a success?
To track my
if you're looking back at your session, you're evaluating it, like what metrics would you be evaluating it on? And if that's a silly question, you can tell me.
It's interesting. There's two different ways to answer this. One is, how much money did I make? Is that good or bad? And two is, did I follow my rules, right? Because each individual day, you could lose money but do the right thing. And that's the crazy thing about trading is, if you're losing money, you're assuming that you're doing the wrong thing, and that's not necessarily true. Most days I'll make money. Some days, occasionally I lose a lot of money, and that's when you've made a mistake, because you shouldn't be losing a lot of money. You should be losing a little bit of money on the days that you do lose. right? So the best metric that I personally use is how much anxiety is in my heart. And that's so crazy because everyone talks about these numbers, you know, how are you following your rules and whatnot. If I'm panicking, that means I've done it wrong because I'm doing something that's against my rules. I'm losing. I'm not being truthful to what I need to be. And I'm not actually being calm and present in the moment. And I'm making poor decisions. Okay. So if I'm feeling fearful, if there's that, right, then that's the problem. Okay. And I got to go and journal some more. Guys, that's how I trade. I trade very zen. Funny enough, it's none of this high impact stuff.
Well, I mean, if they've seen your TikTok live streams, you're always playing your music and chilling and doing your thing.
It's fun, but it's there's no pressure ever. We're just hanging out, right? Personally, how I like to trade is get in and out of the trades over time, kind of feel the market. Okay, guys, this is going down, so maybe we want to enter some trades here pretty soon here. So I'm going to switch this to trading view, right? Because we have a trading view feature built into the Maven platform here. I'm just going to draw out some of those similar levels, right, that we had, and just see if I can just take that guy. See if I can figure out how to do this on this one here. Okay, so we had some levels, you know, right around. You know, I think they've already kind of hit them, right? So we had some levels here. We had this level here, right, that we wanted to hit. And it does look like they're shorting, right? And we have another level sort of here. So those are the levels of zones. So it does look like we're in those zones and it's coming back and we have a nice entry. Maybe the 15-minute might give us some interesting points here, okay? That was a good level there, kind of a zone here. You know what I mean? So maybe we wanted to short off of that. It does look like they're rejecting. So maybe we're just going to enter a trade right now and just see how that goes. Okay. Drop down to the 5-minute. I like the 5-minute. We're closing back below there. We are back in a downtrend. So that's really nice to me. Now, guys, personally, I'm just going to place the short, see how that goes. We're just going to let it run for a minute and answer some questions. Now, the way that I like to trade is if it goes against me, I might add, because I don't know if that's the level personally. I see everything's been satisfied that I want to see satisfied. I'm willing, maybe there's some more levels here that I might want to add some more. So maybe I'll add as it comes up. Maybe I'll add up here at the top of that level if we do get a little bit of a liquidity grab. But I'm willing to get out of the trade up here. 1 second. Let's get a draw. How do I draw here? I'm willing to get out of the trade somewhere up here. So we're gonna place, if we do want to place a stop loss, we can place a stop loss up there and then reevaluate and set up trades here for more shorts if we do continue short. Okay. So let's do that and let's set up a stop loss. Let's do that actually here. Let's put a stop loss here. We're just going to place a loose stop loss. Okay. Personally, I hate stop losses, but we're going to do them for your guys' sake. We're going to set it at say 350, just loosely. Okay. And again, I do a loose target. I'm not sure where the target's going to go. Take profit, maybe do a 1-to-1 sort of deal. And again, same sort of thing. We want to look for those levels of interest. Okay, so let's actually do that. Levels of interest, guys, we have on the higher time frame. These lows here, of course. That next level that's been untested. It's not been touched yet. Okay. So hopefully there's a little liquidity grab, as some people might like here. So that's a really good level there. These are kind of zones we might be interested in. Same sort of deal, right? This has all been consolidating here already. So if we are trying to push new lows, you know, we might be keen to maybe do a level right here. Okay, so we can kind of see and play with the market as we go. It's kind of a fun thing, and that's already been tested. These ones here, right? So we might push a little bit lower. We might go there. I'm going to just adjust that slightly, and this is the zone that I like for a target.
Someone's asking, what percent do you usually risk?
Right, guys. So that's going to be completely up to your risk profile. I personally like to trade based off of the dollar value. I will trade, since I'm doing prop firm accounts, I only trade prop firm accounts. I don't trade my own money, really. That's more for investing and whatnot. And I will not lose more than $500 in a day. And if I'm willing to lose one trade, right, And if it comes up here and it's negative $500-600, something like that, like you can give and take. That's personally what I'll do. So it depends on the account size. If I'm trading a $50,000 or $100,000 account, right? Then you can do that calculation for yourself. I'm not doing it in my head right now, but I'll add or lose or add and subtract lots from the trade as it goes. Personally,
someone wants to know if the peacock's alive. Because
peacocks are alive. Yes, there's been a new addition to the family. One of the babies made it alive through the summer. So usually they get eaten by something. I think there were 6 and only 1 made it this year. So there's a bunch of peacocks running around.
Yeah, that's nature for you, right?
Yeah, that's usually my cat actually that snags them.
So your cat's slowing down is what you're saying.
Yeah. Do we have any questions on different sort of trading styles than I've post running here? And guys, hopefully this makes some money so that you can kind of see the power of this. Essentially is a trend-based trading style that's using levels of or support and resistance sort of thing.
Yeah. Someone's wondering what trading strategies they should explore as a beginner, if there's any recommended ones.
As a beginner. Right, so let's bring up this little thing again here. And I believe some people said I missed a few, right? And the ones that I don't recommend are the ones that are subjective to your opinion. You know why? Is because they are so incredibly difficult to get accurate, and that's why Elliott wave is very, very low, because it is incredibly difficult for you to know what the hell you're talking about. Now, the thing is, why I use horizontal levels is because that horizontal level is always that horizontal level. Trend lines, not super, super good. They work okay. But because that line moves and you can kind of shift it around in various spots, it's not very accurate. You don't know where those levels are. Okay?
Yeah. I have a couple questions about session-based trading. They just kind of want a bit of a overview on that. I see you, FX Blues. I know you want it.
Session-based trading. I'm going to need more information on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
FX Blues, what exactly are you asking?
Yeah. So like session-based trading, the only thing I can say about that I know that you're asking is you should trade pairs that have higher volume in those sessions.
A lot of people are asking if you trade gold. And if you will trade gold, and if they can see gold, they really like gold.
Let's look at gold. How about we look at gold? Everyone loves gold.
Yeah.
I love the stock market. Gold is much more steady throughout the day. Everyone around the world loves gold. Gold. All right, guys, let's look at it. Fresh top-down analysis. Again, we're going to do some day trading today. We're not doing the swing trading, so we're going to keep the weekly and the daily and the monthly out of it. So let's just do the 4-hour and the 1 hour. That's good. That's a really clean close on that 4 hour. I like that one. Okay. Nice above those levels. There's no little wick at all, right? So that's really fantastic. So let's maybe draw a zone here. I like these tops and those tops, okay? Now let's drop it and see some more. And there's another low level there. So we've got that. Let me pull back the trading view so that I can see. I want to see gold.
Sounds good.
I want to see it on the.
I keep getting asked if I trade. No, I don't. I do not trade. I'm kind of learning along with you guys. Yeah.
So I personally only brought this up because I like to see the 2 hour as well. That's my preference. And so there we go. We see nice levels here on the 2 hour, 2 hour, 2 hour. Good stuff. This candle has another hour on it. Let's look at the 1 hour here. All right, it looks all really, really good. The 1 hour is coming back down though, however, but the higher time frames again does look to me pretty strong for the bulls. You would have to be pretty hard done by to say I'm wrong here. So one of the major gaps is going to be this distance. Okay, there are levels that kind of pass around through here. So we might draw another little guy here. That's kind of the zone that I'm looking at. And again, if you want some more levels, drop down a little bit more. I don't like using anything too much less than the hour for levels unless I have to. and it looks like this, right? So these are some levels that we might be interested in buying in on. Are they buying up it? No, not really. It's kind of just dumping against it, but we might want to start adding to it. So maybe we'll take a gold trade. Why not? Let's just do a 0.1 gold trade just for fun. And we said that the bias was up, we think. Okay. And these are kind of the zone we want to get in on. And so maybe we'll place some trades and see if we can get in on a buy. Right? Place one there. Why not? Let's place another one a little bit deeper. Let's add an order. Let's use the actual features of the Maven trading platform. If you guys aren't familiar with Maven trading, go maventrading.com. You can get yourselves a $100,000 account here. Pretty dang easy.
Yeah. When you're looking at the markets and stuff, as much as there's a lot of practices that you can do and do things a certain way, how much do you think intuition comes in with stuff like this?
So guys, this is a fantastic question because the way that I am trading, I've basically just kind of put a trade up here really quickly. 2 trades that maybe don't make any sense. I should have waited for these trades. You know what I mean? I've been trading for 7 years actively, and I've been in Bitcoin for 11 years, right? So it's been a long time watching what these candlesticks do. So and also we're streaming here. So I'm much more with the flow. I add in and out. I don't recommend this sort of thing for a majority of people because it's very easy for your emotions to get caught up, and then you stay in trades when you shouldn't be staying in trades. It's much smarter to have stop losses and have a strict back-tested strategy so that you can follow that. It's difficult to trade this way because you can't really back-test it. So if you're a beginner, I really recommend getting data before you start doing sort of the style that we're just kind of experimenting with right now. So let's place a trade there. Maybe we want to place another trade at, we're going to put this little liquidity area here, maybe at that level at 26.57. All right. And we'll put a limit there. How about? And that's all well and great. Okay. So we can see pending orders. Is that going there? 26.57. That's not working right now. Did the thing freeze? That's not good. I think I'm streaming too hard and the thing freezed. You can't see the thing going. So let's see. Make sure that that's not causing us a problem. Okay, awesome. We've got that there, and maybe because we're not too sure it's really dumping, we might add a bigger one down here. So hopefully we got a couple pending. Oh, we got a bunch of pending orders. All right, so let's really hope that hits. Let's maybe cancel one.
So do you think when you're trading, like, is a simple setup good enough to just trade on, or do you think you need like multiple screens? We saw your screen post.
Guys, I think I might be notorious for having the most ludicrous trading setup that is unnecessary. I have a 60-inch screen above me. You do not need this. What I think is best for the regular average Joe is to have 2 monitors, and don't trade off your phone because you can't see things very well on the phone. Have one for the chart and one for the actual placing of the trades and whatnot. That's what I found best. That's basically what I'm doing right now. Is I'm switching it for you guys so that you can see because I do the trading view. I like seeing the trading view, and then I like seeing the actual trading platform. I'm switching it back and forth for you guys because there's only one stream. This is water, by the way. Sparkling water. Looks like a wine bottle.
You specify.
Yes. So hopefully we get a little bit of volatility here now that the hourly close. A lot of things happen on hourly closes. That's a good tip for you guys if you want to jot that down. Every time there is a close, it causes a new candle body close to happen, and people get new information. And that's when all the bots go haywire. They say, oh, that's a new close, right? And I want to see what I can place the trades for now. So a lot of bots place their trades. A lot of new traders come back from their lunch breaks or whatever it is, and more trades get placed. So that's when the volatility comes in. So let's look again on the market here now that we've got that new hourly close in the past few minutes.
There's a lot of questions on how you adapt when the market becomes volatile or where something unexpected happens. But I think you kind of answered that in the intuition question. You tend to just trade with the flow. just based off of your experience, correct?
Very much. I have a priority system that's still based off some sort of data. And if I'm not feeling it, you should. This is why I suggest mostly for beginners to not trade this way, is because if I'm not feeling like I know what's going to happen and I have the intuition and I have the levels and everything looks great, I'm not going to trade. I'm just going to get out of the trade. And the second I start getting that, as I was saying, I just leave. I leave for the day. I don't know what's happening. And majority of new traders can't do that. So they have to follow rules.
Well, it makes sense with anything. As you learn, your intuition changes based on what you know. So
guys, what's going to happen here as this is coming down, we're seeing that it is following the trend in which we talked about, going to the downside here. But we're going to have little levels all along the lower time frames here, right? So we've got like these little guys, and they're much less significant than the bigger guys, but you're still going to see why we're seeing this range-based trade here. It's because those hourly candles closed, right? And then we started seeing pullbacks, and that rejected off of some levels, right? And then the little levels here that formed, right? That's what they're rejected now, right? So they do need to bounce around a little bit before we can accumulate and distribute some more, okay?
Mark wants to know if you have a trade entry checklist and if you can share it.
Yeah, it's very much similar, guys, to what I've been talking about. Here's a good example of something I used to trade, and when I was more strict about it, is I would figure out the bias, okay, and the bias then breaks out to different things too. So the bias was essentially, okay, is the higher time frames. So I check the higher time frames. Are they gaining new levels? Are they with big closes like this? And I would check also if there's wicks. Okay, that's a good example of two things on the bias that I might check to see where the trend is going to be going. Okay, I'd be looking at levels back here and all that jazz, right? And that's mostly on the candle bodies. Okay, so then I can determine the bias. After you know the bias, you have what direction that you want to choose. The next step is to figure out which zones you want to buy on. Okay, and this is what I've been explaining is I start jotting down those zones. So, you know, we might say that since we're short bias here, let me drop the time frame. We wanted to short on these levels. So I draw down those levels, right? And now the thing is, the entry is much less significant for me now. That's the difference between how I used to trade and how I suggest many of you trade, is to find levels on the lower time frame that you're going to enter on. I don't do this as much, and a lot of the times I used to trade too is I would make sure that there would be these things right here. I would then do the actual entry, and I would wait for these break of structures on the lower time frame. So I would make sure that it hits a level, right? That's a level of significance, and then it turned on that, right? And then I would enter here. And a lot of my trades would look like this, right? And then you put a stop loss above there. Now the issue with that is you don't know if this is the level that they're going to take or if it's this one. And that's why it's much more intuitive for me now. So now, guys, you can see that we were right about our bias there. And I did tell you that there is a level right here, right? So that's what they're buying off of right now. So it's going to be a matter of fact that if you have a big trade running, you might want to take off some of your position here. Okay. We don't know if it's going to bounce there. Literally the exact same thing I said, because we know that there's levels to the top and bottom. Okay.
So, someone's asking your opinion on the power of three strategies from ICT.
The power of three, is that
one is the accumulation, manipulation, and distribution.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. The accumulate. So that is so crazy common on the opens, because there's so much volatility. Everything goes haywire. It makes sense. I like it. Well, holy crap, Hunter actually likes something. It's great, right? It's great, but the thing is, guys, you need to know what direction it's going to go, or it's useless, right? And so the accumulation. So you guys are going to say, okay, this is the accumulation, right here, accumulation, the fake out, and the direction, right? What do they call it? Manipulation, and then the trend or whatever, right? The power of three. That's basically what happened here, right? This morning, and it happens all the time. But you need to know what direction is going to go, and that's why I use the higher time frames, right? And if you can figure out the higher time frame bias, you're going to know, and you're going to be confident to be able to add to that short here in that zone, right? And that's what I would say about that one.
How do you feel about merging different strategies, like merging 2 or 3?
Perfect. That's how the best traders run, right? Is they find all of this information, and then they process it, they experiment with one. You should have multiple things going on, but they should be a priority-based system, is my belief. Okay? So if you have 2 contradicting views, you can either say that if I have contradicting views, I'm not trading, or you can say this one takes precedent. Okay. You need to know, otherwise you're going to mess up. Right. And then because you're not going to have the intuitive factor until way down the line. Give yourself 5-10 years at least.
Yeah. Some people are asking just about the psychological factor of just trading or live trading or anything. Is there anything you want to comment on that? They're kind of just asking how you keep your emotions in check.
Yeah. Guys, I've said it before, and it's going to sound so dang corny. I sit in a chair at the end of the night. I journal every single night, pretty much, unless I have some company or something. I journal. I put on a little nice music and a diffuser in the fireplace next to me, and I calm down and I reflect about the day. And it sounds so silly. And sometimes I'll journal about trading. Sometimes I'll journal about my emotions. You can do it immediately after trading too. I'm specifically doing it for the day. But if you do it after trading and do it more so not about what you did and like the trading style you did, but like how you're feeling and some ideas and whatnot. And that's going to get the brain flowing. Right? It sounds a bit different than everyone says, but journaling is very, very important. I say focus on the emotions that you're feeling rather than what you're doing.
Yeah. Is that when you break out the calm music? Because someone was asking about if you like to play calm music while you're trading, and I don't think they've seen your trading live streams. So.
I just when I live stream, I'm just making entertaining stuff. So I live stream on TikTok, guys. You can follow me on there, trader.hunter. I'm doing a few times a week sort of deal whenever I've got time in and out of meetings. And it's the same sort of style like this, guys, if you wanted to follow along. Music is just playing. I'm having fun, hanging out. But the calm music is for reflecting. You're not reflecting while you're acting. There's 2 different modes, right? You're either doing or you're learning from what you've done, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Although I think the last time I joined your stream, you went from country to corpse, which was kind of hilarious.
Yes.
I started laughing. So
it's random what plays, yeah. So you don't know what you're getting that day. Guys, this is great to see. So let's explain what's going on currently right now, okay? Right in the market. And then we're going to wrap up with a couple questions and then the giveaway. So exactly what we've seen that bias was going down, rejection off the level that we actually wanted to reject off of. And then the buy up here. I told you, if you're too heavy in your position, you want to get out of some of your position because you're too high risk, these are the areas you get out. And the same thing goes for if it's negative, guys. If you're in the negative and you're too heavy, you get out on the other side here. So let's say something like this happens, right? We entered here, right? And then we added to a position. Your guys are allowed to add a couple times. That's fine on Maven Challenge. Just don't do too many. You're not allowed to do 5, okay? So if you start adding up here, okay, and then it's going against you, but you still believe the trade is going down, then get out some here. You have to. It's high risk, okay? You have to reduce your risk, otherwise you're going to blow the account. And this is the thing too, right? So we could have taken profit here and then re-added like that if we thought that was if we thought that was a good idea. Today I don't really care. And then we're going to continue that, and hopefully we can get out down here. That's maybe what we're going to do, because that's the level that we were looking for, okay? Emma, let's finish with some questions. This was basically the trade setup that we're doing with loose parameters. Something like this is essentially what we're doing, right? With the option to add up here. Okay.
I did see someone asking about red flags in the market before you start trading. So is there ever a time, you look at the market and you go, the market is not going to be good to me today due to this specific red flag?
Totally. Totally. Yeah, there's two major things. One is I look at the higher time frame and I say, I don't know. That looks weird. Spinning tops, right, guys? Let's the spinning top sort of candle on the higher time frame. This sort of stuff, right? When it's like big wicks on either side, unless it's like obvious, like this is a giant bullish one, like stuff like this where it's just spinning back and forth. Generally, that like I don't know, and don't trade. You know what I mean? Like this stuff, right? If it's going on either side, I don't know which levels it's failing and which levels it's gaining. You know what I mean? Somebody does. Some bot somewhere knows what it's going to do, and they just wait until it's clear, and then breaks up here. Okay, we can go now. Yeah. And the other one is avoid news, of course. Everyone speaks about that, right?
Yeah. Someone. Sorry, I'm just looking at all these questions flowing through. There have been several questions just on like if you're in drawdown, how you recover from it. So
I basically briefly talked about that. I'm talking about the drawdown if you're live in a trade. If it does go against you, there's two ways to trade. Basically, the one is to have strict stop losses and just get out and then re-enter later. And I don't like that because I don't know what level they're going to use. So that's my preference. But what you could do is you could enter on every level and then stop yourself out. But if you're in a drawdown on the account, maybe that's what you're asking. Drawdown on the account, lower your risk until you can get back out of that drawdown, because you want to be able to give yourself, say, 3 or 4 days at any particular time. So I might do my challenge, say my drawdown is $2,000 total. Okay. That's what I'm allowed. Okay. I might risk $500 the first day. Let's say I lost it. Oh, poo. Okay. Next day I might do 600. Oh, poo. Right. Now I have $1,100 in drawdown. Right. And I have another 900. I might say, okay, I need at least 3 days of buffer here. So I might say, okay, if I lose 300, I'm going to get out each day. Right. And that's how I would do it is lower it based off of what you've got left. Right. So that you always have about 3 sort of days. Right. Because,
you've been asked this before, but what's your favorite time frame or the time of day you like to trade?
Yeah, I trade only the New York session.
There you go.
And basically from any time from 7 a.m. my time to 11 a.m. my time. So that is a little like the market opens a bit crazy. So I like to give it a second to wean down. And then for the next like 4 hours.
Yeah. Are there any key habits or practices that could make someone a more consistent trader? I've had a few consistency questions come through today.
Yeah.
Might kind of depend person to person, really.
It is quite person to person. So it's interesting that I can only base this around myself, right? And I'll get Emma to answer some of this too, because she might have some consistency in her life. For myself, I have to block my days. This is a really important thing for me. Is I set up a time where I'm allowed to trade and I don't do anything else, right? And then we do our meetings right later in the day. And that's my meeting time. I don't trade during them. And that really helps you get your brain organized so that you can be consistent. Yeah. Emma, is there anything you do for consistency that really helps?
I try not to get trapped in something. Sometimes I can like really dive into something, but what ends up happening is you're stuck in the same process forever and you end up making the same mistakes over and over again. You have to take a break. That applies to anything. Always make sure you have scheduled breaks. If you know you're diving into something that you're going to spend hours on, have an alarm set.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's start wrapping this up. If there's any major questions that are popping your way, Emma, you can say them now. But then let's. Yeah.
Well, someone asked you what your opinion is on forex signals. So
yeah,
wondering if you wanted to talk on that.
As transparent as I can be, I tried to attempt to do a signal group one time way back when, and I tried to get a bunch of traders on, and it is so incredibly difficult to have your clients profitable alongside with you because trading is so specific And the way that you're trading live like this, the only way to do it would be a live-based trading where people can watch along. Or you could do long-term signals. That's the only way that I think it could possibly work. It did not work very well for me, so I shut it down. I couldn't provide a service that I was proud of. And so I believe majority of your everyday signal services are the exact same. It's pretty much near impossible to mirror what they do. So don't buy into those unless it's something that's like, okay, this is the market is going up, sort of like a newsletter sort of thing might work better, I think.
Yeah. Someone else also asked, there's been a few questions about profit targets. Someone was asking about monthly, daily. If you're beginning, what is a realistic profit target to set, whether it's monthly, daily, whatever you want to talk about?
Don't lose money. If you're beginning, your goal is to learn. Your goal is to go through the month, not have a heart attack, because you're gonna have a heart attack, right? Go through the whole month without having a heart attack, while having money in the market. And if that means doing nothing and just watching the charts, you had a successful month. If you cannot trade at all, good job.
Yeah, actually, speaking of not trading, because I was talking about taking a break, someone was wondering if you take a break from trading, how much is that going to impact your profitability?
Oh, taking a break from trading is really, really great, I think. Depending on how long the break is, of course, to make sure that you still retain everything. If you're taking a year-long break, probably not very productive because you're not keeping up with the Jones, right? But if you take a week-long break, I love it because now you're completely disconnected with everything that's been going on. Guys, this looks really good here in terms of the market going down. We've seen some nice closes here. Again, it's going to hopefully bounce off that level maybe and then come back up and retest and go. Hopefully we can get a little dump here as we're finishing up.
All right.
Emma, do we want to tell them how they're going to win the giveaway?
Yeah, so a lot of you guys have been asking some fantastic questions. I cannot choose all of you, unfortunately. So I have chosen someone for the giveaway. I will be popping their name up in our YouTube chat. So let me just grab them. And that is William 500FX. I will be popping it up in the YouTube chat on how to do it. You're going to pop into our Discord and you're going to claim your free account by opening a ticket in our Discord. I will be providing the Discord link.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Emma. It looks like these trades went in the favor. Exactly what we were saying. Guys, if you want to follow along on some future live trading, I do it on TikTok. I'm sure you can find me however you want to find me. We do these market analysis. No, let me switch this here. We do these streams every single Tuesday, UTC, 4:30 p.m. A different topic every week. Next week, we're going to be doing a open discussion with more of the team. We're going to bring a bunch of the team on and talk about how they create success in their lives, what habits they make to make sure that they're consistent, and keep open discussion for you guys. Again, every single week we do a giveaway. So if you guys want to tune in next week, that's really great. I'm going to close out these trades. Let's put it back on here so you guys can see our final profit for the day. $500 on that one. Let's close it. And $12 on that one. So good little day on stream, guys. And look at that. We were in drawdown at the start. Fantastic. We're not out of drawdown anymore. That gives us a little bit of a withdrawal opportunity here now that we're funded. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. See you next week.